Happy 25th anniversary InStyle. You look good. So this was my very first time on the cover of InStyle magazine, and I was super, super proud of it and really excited about it. It was after the birth of my first child that I birthed, not because I have 3 kids and one of them I didn't birth, but after the birth of my first child. And I love this cover, but there was a lot of controversy about this cover. Dare I say, it was a scandal. Because what happened was, the use of light when we were filming, when we were shooting, made me appear lighter than I maybe am if you encounter me at Whole Foods or on the street. And while it's a common use of light on covers for lots of models and actresses, being African American, it was a trigger for a lot of people because the belief or the idea that got triggered for people was that I had to appear lighter in order to appear on the cover. And what was great was that I was able to call my friend Ariel Foxman, who was then the editor-in-chief, at like 2 in the morning when we dropped the cover, and I was like, what are we gonna do? And so I put out a statement and he put out a statement that really took responsibility for the fact that we hadn't purposefully lightened my skin, but that the practices that we used in shooting the cover were not necessarily sensitive or responsible to the African American community or to communities of color. It was a really proud moment, I think, because we didn't hide from it, you know? We really stepped right into it and created a space for conversation and compassion and shared understanding. And I'm still really proud of the cover. I think it's great, but I think it's also great that people understand how manipulating images can really impact audiences. Honestly, when I look at a lot of these images, I think mostly about how it was my first big cover shoot after the birth of my daughter. It was a really fun, kind of edgy, graphic shoot. I remember nursing at this photo shoot because my daughter was there, so I either paused to breastfeed or to pump, or maybe both, because it was probably a really long day. I was really relying on friends who were working moms. Like, I'm noticing one of the quotes from people who so generously shared a quote in the article was from Jessica Alba. So she was somebody who, I've worked with her, I love her, I respect her. She's a badass working mom. And I was like, how, like when, what do we do? What am I doing? So really leaning into the support of other women who were walking a similar path or had was vital for me in this window. So I'm super proud of this. This was my second InStyle cover, and this was a very big deal because it was a September issue, which is a very big deal. And this actually it was similar. It's so funny. Now that I'm a mom, my life is really marked by the events of motherhood. So I had agreed to do this cover, and then I had to call and I said, well, I'm preggo. I was super preggers. Well, not super preggers, I was early preggers, but I said, I'm going to be pregnant at the shoot. Do you want to fire me from the shoot? And he said, no, I still want you on our September cover. We'll shoot around it or with it, or we'll figure it out. And we did. Corolla Gonzalez, who did my makeup, is largely responsible for the glow. My son is also responsible for the glow. This cover is my favorite because it had less controversy. No, but also because I feel like this was one of my first covers, ironically following the other cover. This cover, when I looked at it, it just really felt like me. I really was like, oh, that's not like a version of me that required a whole lot of work. There was kind of a nakedness to the interview and to the photo that felt more authentically me than a lot of other shoots I've done. Scene.
Scene.
Cut.
Timer.